Who's your doctor?
Lang is her doctor. Y'all treat all your patients like this or just the black ones?
There was the first patient for you. Alright, last name is Jones. She's G3P2. Not sure when her due date is.
Her due date is
Just
the
said it
10th.
was the 10th.
I think her due date's the 10th.
She had 3 pregnancies, 2 babies at home. I bet y'all listen next time. When you found out you was delivering at this hospital, your ass should have changed doctors. Everybody say how they treat people here.
This was the most heartbreaking and emotional video I've ever watched. Black women are going through a lot, and lately the mortality rate of the pregnant black women is rising due to the negligence of some of the nurses. Like for instance, this nurse, she was just comfortably sitting, and yet that woman was in active labor, and still the nurse kept on asking her some of the questions which she could have kept the question, then asked the woman later after delivering the baby, because in the video it's written that she delivered the baby 12 minutes after the incident, to mean the baby would have been delivered even before the 12th minute, where that the nurse were so responsible enough and they were willing to help the baby. So it means that is not the first incident that happened in Dallas Regional Hospital. There has been several incidences, only that people have not been filming. So to all the black women around the world, may God always protect you, because it is not easy on black women's side. I want us to watch the reaction of the people, how they reacted to the video. And before we watch the reaction of the people, I want us to get to the side of the story from the moms of the woman.
Hello, TikTok family. This is a follow-up on the video that I posted earlier. So I was at work. I had no idea of the activity that was going on. My daughter's texting me, calling me. I didn't know what was going on. So finally I get home, they tell me about the video, and a lot of you was asking about a follow-up and to explain the situation. So this is the situation. My daughter went into active labor at home. We took her to the hospital. She called ahead of time, so we know they are expecting us. However, we get there to the emergency room. We watching nurses, putting gloves on, running to the door. They get outside of the door, and I drive a black SUV, and they look at my vehicle, and one of the nurses come up to the window, and she goes, I'm sorry, this is for ambulance only. I said, well, my daughter is in active labor. And she was like, okay, she said, but you're going to have to go to the front. I'm like, I have to drive to the front. And they said, yeah, you have to drive to the front. Okay, another redhead. And so I'm like, so she's in the, you hear, and it was like, yeah, she started bagging up, hit the button, went back inside the building. So I go around to the front. I get out of the car. Again, this girl is in more pain now than she was when we first left the house. And she started saying, I feel pressure, I feel pressure. I said, take deep breaths. I ran in. I said, hey, my daughter's in the car. I went to emergency. They told me I had to come to the front. So the lady was like, what's your daughter's name? Told her Kiara Jones. She gets out some paperwork, started typing in the name. I was like, ma'am, do you have a wheelchair or anything? She's in the car. I need to get her in. Oh, if you check on the other side of those doors where the vending machine's at, there should be a wheelchair out there. There's no wheelchair out there. So she gets up, she walks in the back, and she come to the door with a wheelchair. She said, here you go, ma'am. I said, excuse me, you're not going to come with me? And she was like, no. Oh, Okay. So, a police officer was in the lobby. He gets up. He grabbed a wheelchair. He goes out the door with me. He said, come on, I got you. Went out there. She is on hands and knees in the back of the vehicle. And I'm like, oh shit, what is going on? And then she goes, it's in my ass. And I was like, what? And the guy was like, and she was like, he said, okay, she was like, give me a minute. She could not move. So when that contraction eased, we put her in a wheelchair. He said, you can go park your car, because they, again, had, people out there. So I went park my car. It wasn't even 30 seconds. I run back in the building. She's just there with a stack of papers in her hand, screaming that this baby is coming. This baby is coming. I look at the registers behind the window, and they looking at me, and they was like, well, we can't do anything until she signed the papers. Are you fucking kidding me? So I grabbed the papers, and of course, it's all ER bullshit that they have. And I was like, you want her to sign this, and she's in active labor. And they was like, okay. I was like, ma'am, she was supposed to be induced earlier today at 8 o'clock. And they called and told her that they will call her because they didn't have beds. And they would let her know. And no one ever called back. They called back every hour on an hour. And it was like, no, we'll call you back. And then finally, her water break, she called them. They tell her to come in. So why is she signing these papers? We need her in labor and delivery. And it was like, ma'am, I'm sorry. So the charge nurse comes out. And she saw the paper signed. What fucking, are you serious right now? And she closes the door. And then the lady behind the window, at this point, my daughter, scribbled her name on all the papers. We gave it to her. She says, thank you. She walked it around to the charge nurse. She opened up the door. My daughter is literally like having a contraction. And she's just standing there in the door. So we push her into the door. I said, can we get her into labor and delivery? She said, no, we have to fill out all this paperwork. I have to do the paperwork and get her a band before we can send her upstairs. So that was the video that you guys saw that I initially posted. So the next video that has no picture on it was when I was pushing her in and we was at the window, because they asked me to move her from the window so they can take care of the guests or, patients that was coming in and out. Do not go to this hospital. This hospital is ghetto as hell. They do not care about Black women or their babies. This is crazy. I read about stuff like this all the time, but to see this firsthand, this lady did not care, none of them. It wasn't until we got into labor and delivery where we saw an ounce of care or sympathy for her. Before then, they can care less. She did not care if she gave birth in that wheelchair. That was not her problem or her concern.
I just watched something that absolutely disgusted me. As a former ER nurse and a current labor and delivery nurse, I usually try to seek the best intent of a nurse. Not today. Not today. Because barring you having a medical emergency yourself, where your legs, your arms, and your voice no longer work, there is zero excuse for the blatant neglect that I just watched. And as a reminder, Black women are 3 times as likely to die in and around childbirth than their white counterparts. Part of that is because they are not believed about their pain. How you can sit there on the computer and act like you don't notice that this woman is actively birthing beside you is crazy town to me. Unacceptable, inexcusable. And if you've got coworkers who you watch do something like that, you are just as culpable.
And that abuse went on for a while. And I say abuse because it is abuse. And when we know that Black and brown people are 4 times likely to die today than me and my color, this is totally disgusting behavior. But let me tell you something. This happens way more than we talk about. This mom was clearly having a baby, was just ignored. I have also had clients ignored. I sat in an ER with a client, a Black mom, who was sitting on her ball for more than an hour. And I would go up to the desk about every 10 minutes or so and ask what the problem was, that she was actually in active labor and no one cared, and why she's gone on to have 2 home births. I'm not saying to have a home birth. I'm saying that systems need to pay attention to how they're treating people, because this is one of the reasons why people feel unsafe and are having out-of-hospital births. This mom ended up standing up, turning around in the wheelchair, and then had a baby not too long after that. There are some people who do not need to even enter the doors of health.
Any true midwife would have known that that baby was coming, okay? The woman was groaning like, that means the baby's knocking on the door, okay? You've asked her the question, what baby number is this? Baby number 3. Do you know how many times as a midwife you can be asking them the questions whilst you're helping them bring down their trousers, whilst you're taking them to the delivery room? That woman was going to give birth. And the fact that the healthcare professional did not even look at her, you're speaking to a labouring woman and you haven't even turned around to even look at her, to even see all the signs, everything, every sign she gave, the fact that she can't sit down, she had to stand up, she had to turn around. Every sign gave that baby was coming. And even if that baby came 12 hours later, it doesn't matter. That's not how she should have been treated. So when we go on about Black maternal health, people think we'll keep going on. This is what we mean. And what you just saw isn't something that happens randomly. This one just happened to be filmed. That video disgusts me so much.
So I just woke up, opened my phone, and see this bullshit. Things that we already know happen in this racist system because it's very systematic. But to hear a woman screaming and you're a woman as well, you know how evil these people are. Like, I'm not here for the ally bullshit. I'm not here for, oh, all women are treated equally, even though Black women have more of a mortality rate in America. Whereas y'all claim as a first world country, y'all claim we have all the technology. Y'all claim that. But y'all let race determine how you treat a patient and you're a fucking nurse. Jail immediately. You should never work with another patient ever again in your life. I can't stand this fucked up ass world, the way they treat Black people, yo. This shit really pisses me off. Every time I open my eyes, I get more and more mad with the shit I see. And y'all wonder why I go so hard on white people. I will forever go hard on them because of shit like this. And that woman would probably claim she's not racist. That lady is screaming in pain. Y'all don't think we feel pain. Y'all just took it out your medical books. Y'all don't think we feel pain. And this is the shit I be talking about. This is why I go so hard. Because the shit like this, you just can't get around. 30 minutes of asking stupid ass questions that could have waited. You could have killed this lady. You could have killed her. And I know you don't give a fuck. You're not going to give a fuck until you in jail crying, oh, I didn't beat it. Bitch, somebody find this bitch. Y'all so good at finding everybody else. Somebody find this bitch. Seriously. And I hope they get everything they need from this fucking hospital. Seriously. Because there's no way in hell. You hearing a person scream bloody murder and you just sitting there with no empathy. You cannot be fucking human at this point. This shit is... You know what?
I don't know if you guys have seen this footage, but this is not okay. I am absolutely mortified after watching this for many reasons. Let's just talk about the fact that I'm an ER nurse and we are supposed to take care of patients. I cannot imagine somebody walking into the emergency room that I'm working in and they are screaming and we know they're in active labor and we're just ignoring them essentially and asking them questions that we can get on the back end. We can get on this app and we can play and we can joke and we can do skits, but one thing I take extremely serious is patient care. And aside from that, let's talk about the fact that African American women are at high risk when giving birth, okay? A study from the CDC shows that for every 100,000 live births, there has been 50 fatalities in African American women, putting them at a 3 times higher chance of fatalities than Caucasian women. So for every 100,000 births, live births in Caucasian women, only 14 fatalities. Not saying, right, that this has to be about race, but it should put an emphasis on the lack of urgency on a patient who's at higher risk. My heart goes out to this mother. I am so sorry you experienced this, and I want you to know that all healthcare workers do not look like that. We actually don't claim that kind.
This video should piss off anybody that sees it, and then it just falls on what I talk about. If you are not passionate about being in the medical field and taking care of people, then you should not be in the medical field. This nurse lacked empathy, sympathy, everything that she needed to take care of this mother who literally was just about to give birth. The amount of pain that you're in right before you give birth, to those contractions, everything, it feels like your bones are breaking, and she's asking her questions. I have no words. It is truly disgusting, that video, seeing how they, she took care of her, the lack of urgency in the whole situation. And I hope this video gets the attention that it needs, that it deserves, because people like that should not be in the medical field. I'm so tired of it. I dealt with it all the time when I was going through my cancer treatment, and I've watched the lack of urgency with my sister who was having a seizure from the paramedics. It's just disgusting what's going on within our medical field, the way they want to get your insurance, they want to get all your information first, and then I'll take care of you.
The video I just watched is absolutely horrifying. There is footage circulating on social media right now of a young Black pregnant mother in active labor arriving to an emergency department, and instead of receiving urgent, compassionate care, the triage nurse appears to be more focused on completing paperwork than focusing on the human life right in front of her. It appears she doesn't visibly check her, no fetal monitoring, no stabilization, instead forms in a mother that is in active labor. This is a medical emergency, and in that moment, she appears to be completely ignored. No empathy, no humanity, just cold, and that is completely unacceptable. My heart goes out to that mother. I hope with all my being that she and her baby are okay, because we as healthcare workers, we should be the ones that embody light, hope, compassion, humanity. But in this case, all of that was missing. And here's the hard truth. This is not an isolated incident. Black women in the United States are 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes than white women. 3 times. If you saw that video, and if what you witnessed is an obvious display of discrimination, and you felt your blood boil, you are not alone.